folks to sit down. No, she doesn't. Nikola is here from Geothermal Worldwide. He's here to give a presentation on technology for extraction of electrical energy from geothermal without draining the brine to the surface, and how that might fit into solvency restoration and importing water. Nikola?
You said very good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for the invitation.
An hour and 15 minutes from now.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Committee, very nice seeing you, and thank you for coming, and good evening. And on telephone, Michael, also nice hearing you. I don't see you. I have a point laser, but I will hope that we can communicate somehow. There is about 79 slides. I will speed it up to make it, and I hope that you understand concept. My name is Nikola Lakic. As a student of the School of Architecture in previous Yugoslavia, state Macedonia, I admired Frank Lloyd Wright very much, although we studied Frank Lloyd Wright, Miss van der Waal, Le Corbusier, many pioneers on modern architecture. I graduated in 1982, and soon after I contacted wife of the Frank Lloyd Wright, Mrs. Wright, and I told her that I admire Frank Lloyd Wright very much, and she sent me paper, and that's how I came to the United States, 1983, Frank Lloyd Wright. I will start with little, well, we all know, I will start with concept, overview. Well, we all know the situation about South Sea is shrinking. Fish is dying. There is not enough water. We are losing with evaporation 1,250,000 acre-feet every year. So it has to be replenished, in my opinion. Otherwise, you're going to lose lake. We have geothermal potential excellent. Less than 1 mile deep down, we have, well, 360 Celsius, 680 Fahrenheit. So it's very, very good condition for geothermal, for harnessing, for geothermal exploration. I'm not going to stay on that very much. Or is about what we have here. We know dimensions about 30 miles, 2 miles, 10 miles wide. Let me speed it up a little bit. Okay, the objectives of of this proposal are raising and stabilizing lake's water to the level of 50s and 60s, preventing further pollution of the lake, and I will explain in a minute how to do that. Providing wildlife sanctuary, so the birds can choose salty water or fresh water. They can choose. It's huge, not just small area with sign. This is wildlife sanctuary. Equalizing salinity of the lake with ocean, and possibly that during that process make some money by having hydroelectric power plant. I will go to that also. There is two options. Sierra Cortez and San Diego area, ocean side. Each of them has plus and minus. I'm against, not completely, connection corridor with Sierra Cortez because other country issue. Could be coup d'etat, could be somebody be investing $100 billion will be profit. Somebody might just turn off, switch, what they can do. But conditions are very good because we have only 100 meters elevation, maybe even less. And I will work on that. I'll explain that one too. But even if we do that, because we are in an emergency situation right now, I will proceed with another corridor going Benin, Temecula, and down. Temecula is about 1,200 feet, about 400 meters. We could do it. We could do it. With lower pass, we can make money. With that, we might get even or be a little bit negative, but also, even if we are negative, we can profit, and I will explain you how. Well, harnessing geothermal primary energy. production of fresh water with no additional expenses for it. I will explain that how. That's amazing stuff. Project descriptions, well, not phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, 4. First phase is connecting Salton Sea with ocean, whichever corridor, whether to the Sea of Cortez, that is a little cheaper maybe right now, with some question mark. I will go with that one because even $2.5 billion, the price for linear foot of the 48-inch pipe is between $600,000. 1 mile has 5,290 feet. It's coming, I'm proposing 5 pipelines. 4 going down, 1 going uphill for exchanging high salinity water, and I will touch that a little bit later on. Building 2 main dikes. This is the key to separate runoff water, farmland runoff water, from polluting the lake. And I will go, but this is, I will explain that later. And then we will have center part, which we can replenish, exchange high salinity water, which has high density and has tendency to go to the bottom. So we, with my special pump, we can reach that high salinity water and pump it out into ocean. If they complain about how do you call it, regulatory agency complain about, well, you cannot put high salinity water in the ocean. Well, if that exists, I think that we can argue that because it's normal occurrence in ocean. You have high salinity water from North Pole, South Pole, going down, finding it, going several thousand years all around the planet. It is normal process. I'm not talking taking fertilizer and other stuff into ocean, just high salinity water. That we should win that argument. But even if they are persistent, and we can use that high salinity water and use for new geothermal power plants. So we still, that's not stopping. I will explain that.
Before you go on to the next slide, I just want to clarify, are you talking about 11.5 million megawatt hours? What is that number?
Well, I have 4 pipelines. I will come to that one.
Okay.
During bringing water, during the process of bringing water from ocean, we are...
I get that, but I'm just, the question is 11.5 megawatts.
Well, about 5 megawatts, 1 pipe, 48 inches can produce. Now, 4 pipes is 20 megawatts. But I need some to support that going 100 meters up. Okay, so that's negative. I have to compensate for that. So we'll leave about 11, 12 megawatts. It's not bad. We have hydroelectric power in the desert. Now, 1 pipeline with 48 inches can bring 400 acre-feet. So to compensate for the evaporation of 1,250,000 feet, well, we need 3 pipelines to bring the water. Now I have 4 pipelines because I can produce fresh water without any expenses for that. And I explain you how. Well, then I'm inventor of the new methodology for harnessing geothermal energy. It's a closed loop system, very unique, I will explain that, which I have modified to be used for these conditions, local conditions in area, and we can produce fresh water and electricity much, much better than conventional geothermal system, which talking about 1,800 megawatts. We can go 20,000 megawatts. We can feed to the Arizona, California. I'll explain it. Well, that's one phase is, you know what, I should go to the maybe, okay, so there's 3 phases. One phase is here to start, there is east side of the lake, west side of the lake, and south and down to the Alcadones actually. We can make 200 power plants if you want, even more. We are sitting on the how do you call it, mantle plume right now. And the earth crust is thin, less than 1 mile we have temperature that we can harness it very easy. So 3rd phase is to start 1 power plant. It's unique, it's doable, I will explain how. Second phase 4 is to make same, to repeat it in few other sections, and then all those power plant will finance itself to any subsequent power plant. So this is something for us to start, and in 20, 30 years, and future generations will continue, they can make 20, 200, 300 power plants. Clean energy, fresh water, and $100 billion profit. Just so that, not to mention tourism. When we, let me go to the, this is this one, okay, so you can see. Desalination. Let me, okay, maybe I should go with this drawing first. Okay, this is dike, and this is another dike. So we are separating 1, 2, 3 sections of the lake. Now we do have New River, Alamo River. If you notice, there is secondary dike here. So the water going this way, several pools. And that's for natural plant-based filtration. We have 10 miles this way, few miles this way. We can make even secondary dike inside to make another 10, 15 miles extra flow to give time for filtration. This water from New River and Alamo River can be reused for farmland. Just that is plus. It's a huge plus. Because that water are now going to compensate for evaporation. And as soon as it's touched Salton Sea, it's gone. You can use it for farmland. And we are fighting over there with, you know, about water, who's going to get how much. We have plenty of water. We can use this for it. Now, same thing on north part, central part. I want to suck out high salinity water, which has high density and has tendency to go to the bottom. I can reach it and pump it back, whether in San Diego or this. You know what? Actually, I am for using that water for replenishing hydrothermal reservoirs deep down. And all this area here, down, west, east, and down to the Alcadones, we will need a lot of geothermal power plant. And they need a little bit of water, not a lot, but it's better for conduction. So why not use that water instead? Bother with ocean, we can use it here. That's one option. This is 3 phases. Let me go to speed it up. There is a lot of here. All right, this is proposal for the and blah blah blah. That's pretty much okay. So I'll just explain that how it is. Okay, now this one is ocean level. We have 70 meters, 230 feet difference to the lake. What I'm proposing is, well, this will be perfect for Sea of Cortez again. I'm reluctant to do that, but with $2.5 billion, maybe we should. At this time, but at the same time, start working with Corridor, Benning, 79, and nikola, and there. Because even $2.5 billion, it's nothing compared that we're going to make $100 billion in a few decades. We can make $10 billion profit a year. I will explain you how. So, there is one pump. You know what, let me show you this. I'm going to a little technology. There is part of the new technology that I incorporate in this. When I say pump, well, you might think some commercial pump. There is something that I'd like to switch to the technology for a moment, then I will come back to this so you can understand a little bit better. Okay, so we do have 70 meters. That is huge drop. 7 atmospheres, okay? Every 10 meters, 1 atmosphere. It's huge pressure. Now, we have to pump it 100 feet, let's say 100 meters, 300 feet. Yeah, 300 feet. And then this drop will be 160. I have like 10 meters down, then I have a bunch of generators that will slow down that and use maximum with my generator design. Inline pump, it's patented design, I'll show you that how. So this is the concept that we can produce, to come back to that question. So one pipeline, about 5 megawatts, about 5 megawatts. So 4 pipelines, 20 megawatts minus this, I have to pump it up. Now, if it's completely closed loop system, well, this will suck, will produce some vacuum that will be very easy for this part. Actually, the losses that I put in my proposal are pretty aggressive and conservative. I think would be less, so we can make even more. But this is not point really to make money on the hydroelectric power plant, but it's nice to do it. But point is to bring oceanic water into central part of the lake, which is the point. That's imperative. We have to do it, and I will explain you why is that important. Why that is important. Okay, this is something that I just when I'm sucking high salinity water into pipe that going put it down to the west side of the Mexicali and going down to the mountains, so we don't need really to go to the farmland and urban area, just touching mountains. So that would be a cheaper way to go. We have about 100 meters, just like this, what I said, about 100 meters. So it's doable. And question is how to deal with Mexico. I know that, is there somebody after me? Maurice?
They can't.
Because, okay. Well, there is, I heard some other proposals, how you call it, I'm probably, this is Spanish names, but salada, how you call it? Laguna salada. Yo no comprendo español, yeah. Laguna salada. Well, to fill it with water, and then the pipeline is the answer. And no canals, it's pipeline, that's the answer. We had to submerge main pump into ocean that will feed few additional pumps with sensors. Soon as water comes to it, will turn on. And since we do have vacuum here, because this will go down, this will not be difficult. My expenses and losses that I proposed there, which I explained, that they're aggressive, they are less. We can make more money, actually, more generally. But, okay, let me see. I would go for a second just to explain technology, and then I will come back to this. Oh, this is also area down. This is Mexico border. All this area, there is few power plants here, but we can make bunch of power. This is dunes here. So this area, they're now west of Salton Sea. Also, we can make 100 power plants. And I'll explain you how it works. Let me explain you one circle. One of this circle, okay? It's one power plant. And that power plant looks like this. There is 24 well bores. This is about 500 meters. We have control center with computers. We have fresh water byproduct. I will explain you that. So well bore, boiler, turbine generator. Well bore, boiler, turbine generator. Well bore. This is modular units. It's going all around, but just this section, this quarter. Okay, let me jump this. This is a little bit enlarged. We don't have too much time. Let me go over sections through one of those, okay? Wellbore, boiler, turbines, generator, okay? What we have here is wellbore, boiler, turbines, generator, okay? So we have coil down, heat exchanger. We have another coil into boiler, and you just circulate. Circulate, same thing what you have in your car. Going.
Okay, you talked about bringing it up. Your temperature's probably 450, 500 degrees there. You drop that temperature down, you're going to end up with significant precipitation going back down the wellbore. How do you deal with that?
Okay, for those who doesn't understand, he's talking about heel flux. Okay, that's the rocks will get cooler if you're extracting heat, so you need time to replenish it. So what I had, how I solved that problem, I have a little pump, inside pump, below that. I can go another mile deep down. I'm talking about 48 inches diameter. I will explain you how I'm getting 48 inches. So there is huge surface. And that surface, I can pump it water up, down, around my heat exchanger very easily to avoid any heat flux. But I will come to that later.
Hold on, before you go any further, you're talking about putting a pump down hole.
Right.
What depth?
Below this, let's say 100 yards, 200 yards. This could be, 20, 30 yards, depending, well, it has to be proportional with this coil down, but
Even allowing for that, the geothermal resource at the Salton Sea is probably one of the most arduous, challenging generation potentials that we have. Probably pretty close to in the world. Carbon steel will last no more than about 2.5 years. Titanium, depending on the grade, may last 15 to 20 years. How do you propose to make that reliable?
well, this is not expensive. It could be changed every few years, okay? This is pipe, single pipe. Plus, can be coated with anti-corrosive material. We can work, we can deal with that, but that's cosmetic. That's not, that's, but, well, existing geothermal power plant, well, you have scaling, you have dirty water going through machines. That's where is expensive maintenance. This is not. You have same fluid. You have same fluid. This fluid does not mix with it. This is fluid that's going back and forth.
So it's a binary system.
Second,
It's a binary system.
Yeah.
There's heat exchange.
binary units is this is binary units. Boiler turbine, a little bit modified, but just let me just explain this one for a second here down. I will come back to this. Let me remember. This is 18.
So you're not bringing geothermal brine to the surface.
No, I don't.
No, it's just doing it.
That's the point.
Surface heat exchange.
Okay, this is existing geothermal power plant, and you're pumping water, going through filters, separators, the turbines, the cooling, you're returning, you're replenishing that. But that's messy. That's obsolete. This is enhanced geothermal system. I'm sorry if I hope not installing anyone who is not business, but this is experimental last 30 years. You need to bring water. You had to make hydrothermal reservoir at least 1 cubic kilometer. Now you have to pump that water to the surface. In that process, you're losing some heat. And how do you know that this water will not go up and down, disappear? You constantly have to replenish. That's obsolete. We'll stay experimental next 30 years. This is, we call it same thing. That's not good. What I'm proposing, my system, is boiler, turbines, generator, condenser. You put that down, produce electric energy down, and shipping out with the electric cable. Oh yeah, it looks like this. Boiler, turbines, generator, condenser, producing electric energy and the source of heat, and shipping up it by electric cable.
It's all down hole then.
Everything is done. And you might say, well, what about overheating? I'm cooling it with, well, this is condenser. There is opening here, going bunch of pipes going down through condenser, and I'm cooling condenser with a separate closed loop system, which is, let me jump this one. All right, this is, for example, sections from there is two cylinders, inside and outside. Inside and outside, between them is condenser, circulating water for cooling and it to condense.
What kind of temperature do you need down there?
30 degree difference for condensation. Well, I would like to work with 200-300 Celsius. That would be nice to avoid any heat flux. And I will show you. Oh yeah, this is just a section. Oh yeah, this is. Okay, we do have pink color, boiler, turbine, generator, condenser, producing electric energy and the source of heat, and shipping it up to the surface with electric cable. Blue line is cooling system. cooling system taking heat from engine compartment, and on surface I have boiler, turbine, generator, binary unit, and I'm producing additional electric energy. Now, this system, cooling system, I said, why not to separate it? It's very simple. This might be complicated to produce. That cooling system is vertical pipe, little foundation, spiral back, same thing on surface. Cannot be simpler than that. You put this in source of heat, whether it's geyser or lava, close to the lava in Hawaii, and you can produce electric energy. This one is less effective than first one, but it's cheaper today. Okay, okay, this one, let me see. This is first one, self-contained, in-ground geothermal generator, and this one is self-contained, in-ground heat exchanger. So, this one producing electric energy and source of heat, shipping up with the electric cable, and on surface producing additional electric energy. This one is submerged into source of heat and just circulate. This is thermally insulated pipes. Imagine fire truck, okay? There is hoses that you can connect, disconnect every 30 yards. Imagine hose, smaller diameter and one a little bit bigger, 1 inch bigger. Between them, inject foam. Inject some thermal insulation. Still can be flexible and can do job. So I don't need to lose from here to there heat like they're losing today. We enhance geothermal system and it's, okay, so I'm proposing this system right now. Later on we can pull it out and we can put this when we develop that a little bit better. We have some service line. This one is a little bit complicated. It's not complicated, but this is easy to build. It's no big deal. All right, this is power plant. Okay, this is inline pump. This is third part of my technology. This is electromotor. Electromotor has shaft, rotor, starter. You put electric energy, it's rotate. Generator, it's opposite. You need physical rotation and you're producing electric energy. Now, instead solid shaft, I have pipe. I have pipe, see, from here to here. This part is rotating and has continuous spiral blade, like when you're looking through the gun barrel, it has those grooves that prevent from bullet to tumble, spinning, same thing. And if you take this and put in your swimming pool and you turn on, you'll produce jet and it'll go like torpedo, will damage your pool. If it's this part of the line, whether it's cross-country line or whether it's vertical line to suck oil from a few miles deep down, all those pumps, they're going like this through Texas and California. It's obsolete. This is the way to go. Whole line you can put electromotor. So I'm incorporating all this. This is part of my technology which I have modified for submersible. And I'll explain it. This could be for cross-country line. You can bring water from ocean, and this working as a generator on downhill route. It cannot be simpler than that. And I just got several patents already. This is, so I will come back to this one. Okay, this is sections of that pump. So it has rotor, pipe, rotor, starter, and spiral blade with some opening. Now, on these sections, I'd like just to say something how good and effective this is. Okay, this is basic. You have coil, you put in source of heat, and you have another coil in preferred environment, where you need it, boiler, turbines. And you have pump, and you just circulate. Cannot be simpler than that. Look at that, in order to understand that even better. And to answer your question about heat. Okay, let me just jump for a second. This is Fukushima. When I heard that they are sprinkling that generator, nuclear reactor that blew out a few years ago, they were sprinkling from ocean to cool down generator. And that water was going back in ocean. So I sent them this, I said, look, take one coil next to the reactor, put another coil into bay in ocean and circulate. That way you can cool it without polluting ocean. Now they have different, they don't have problem with cooling now, they have problem with water going under, building. And so, okay, this is, to answer gentleman's question, Hawaii, you have lava flow. And ocean, island, they are paying $1 billion every year to purchase oil to produce electric energy. And they have lava dropping in ocean. Look at this. Take two posts like high voltage towers, connect them with cable, and put one of my heat exchangers not into lava. I don't want to melt it, okay? Just above that few feet. And put another coil into boiler. This could be half mile away, and you'd circulate. Here could be 3 trucks with boiler, turbines, three mobile units with emergency exit road if necessary. And I do have some closed loop system cooling. Somebody was asking how much temperature. I need 30-degree difference. So to cool condenser, I submerge one coil into ocean. Everything's mobile. So they can make bunch of those cement. Somebody said, well, Hawaiian, you're messing with God, you're touching lava. I'm not. Look, I'm taking heat, producing electric energy. That heat anyway will go in atmosphere. Why not use it? I'm not touching lava at all. Lava is flowing nicely. Okay, this is just to explain you that closed loop system. The question was about heat flux. This is way to go, people. I might be a little subjective. I understand that, but I'm looking for questions. What's happening with this? Since we are here, let me show you this one. This is off the subject for a second. This is flare in order to understand technology. Flare stock, any refinery has it, and as a kid, young man in Yugoslavia, I was passing one city where they had refinery and big flame. Kilometer away, my face was warm, this was cold, was winter. And I said, why they don't use that flame? I said, well, how are you going to make power plant on top of chimney? So it's not feasible. Well, 40 years later, I make structure, supporting structure, coil down, flame is burning, and I have just closed loop system. Heavy stuff, binary units on the ground. So we can use those flames, that energy. This is closed loop system for that. I will jump. This is.
Was that built or used anywhere?
Say again?
Was that built or used anywhere, the one you just showed?
So far? No, I would like if Gordon Brown can make this mandatory, so to save, and I'll be selling licensing, license. I cannot build all those things all around, no way. By the way, I'm not contractor. I'm not bidding for any job here. I'm just architect with good idea. And that's what I was hoping together to work on this somehow. I wouldn't be able to do all those myself. Okay, about drilling. Also, drilling is my technology. This is conventional way. You have stream, you have derrick, you have platform which rotate, and you have bit deep down, and how deeper you're going, another segment's coming in. Okay, that's also obsolete. This is, all right, question is how you can take out cuttings, pieces of rocks. They have weight and they have tendency to go down. So they had to inject mud and water down the orifices, and that mud they had to produce a stream between wall of the well and pipe, and that stream has to be strong enough to take those cuttings mile or two up. So if you increase drill head or you're going deep down, you have exponentially to increase pressure deep down through this fluid mud in order to produce that stream up. And those are serious limitations with diameter and depth of the well bore. What I did is this. I have electromotor, electromotor deep down. I have constant excavation line. This can be used for freeway, concrete, and filter it water, return it, not whole column, unless to sustain well bore, but not for excavation, because I have excavation line here. Then, so this can cool engine, and second blue line, red line is same thing on in your car, cooling, taking around your block of engine to the radiator, and I have binary unit to produce electric energy on the surface. That electric energy can be used or supplement electromotor deep down. Okay, this is on surface, boiler, turbine, generator, condenser, and that energy that for cooling engine I can supplement down. I don't say it will be plenty enough, but can supplement. This is a drill head will be enlarged. It's electromotor. This rotate this way, this rotate, this bit rotate opposite, crushing rock and sucking it into excavation line. Now, there is two blocks for cooling of that block, that engine. One is bringing water down a few yards. Second one is to, let me go back just for a moment. Second one is, see, you have blue and red. Blue is taking a little water, bringing here in process cooling a little bit engine. Second one is closer to the engine and producing electric energy and cooling. And depending, see, since I have constant excavation line, doesn't matter how big drill head I have. I can have 48 inches. I have constant up, so I don't need to worry about having the column and producing tremendous pressure for excavation. This is way to go. So it is, and this is movable. This dash line, I can make that opening bigger or smaller. Let's say we have some area with diamonds. I don't want to crush them, okay? Let's open it, let's make a little bigger ground. And, okay, let's see. This is a bunch of patents about this that I have. And most recently, this one is apparatus for drilling deeper and wider well bore. This is one that I just explained right now. But let me go back to, now that you know a little bit about technology, let me go to, for example, that pump, that generator, inline pump slash generator, that can work either way. I can submerge, has to be submerged, at least first one, into water. So I can pump it. I don't want to be to criticize any other work, but this is cheaper way to go. You have like 100 meters or even 500 meters. Whether you make a tunnel or not, or just following some ridge and valley, maybe a little tunnel if necessary. The point is, this 100 meters, you add to this 70, so you have 160 plus 10, and that generator here, on this, we're talking about 17 atmosphere pressure. That will go about 50 meters a second. So if we have conventional generator, and then few of my generator, first one with the less exposed, those continuous spiral blade, so bigger opening so water can go through it and still generate. Second one, a little more exposed blade and a little smaller opening. And on end, we have normal speed, 15 yards a second, which is 13 yards, which is enough for 400 acre-feet water. And so we can compensate for evaporation, and we can always have extra water for, oh, I didn't tell you how I'm making fresh water. Let me go back. Okay. Okay, now I'm taking now oceanic water from central part. By the way, this will be beaches, hotels, motels. We can compete with Newport Beach. We can compete with Huntington Beach. We don't have marine layer like they have in 10, 11 o'clock. This is 12 hours. No canals all around, no smaller lake. This is it. I can take 1 square miles. I can make waves a little separate to avoid erosion. I don't want to make wave all the way. But square mile, I can make it and 2, 3 feet, 4 feet, so people can guest in hotel. They can enjoy all that just surfing. This will be recreation worldwide now, 12 months a year, and that can be repeated. But I'm taking oceanic water now and putting into feeding my geothermal power plant. Try to remember, I have feeding line, I have high salinity line back, and I have fresh water byproduct. I will explain you how. Let me go back. I hope I have time. This would need maybe 2 hours, but I will try to squeeze it in 1. So you guys can ask me questions. Gentlemen. Okay, let's see. Press this one. Now, this high level, I'm bringing, if you remember the first drawings, I'm bringing now oceanic water into boiler to this level. This will be hot. This is constantly, by the way, I don't need to wait until this becomes cold. It's just constantly, very fast going, constantly similar temperature, going, just down. And this can be circulated. We can increase this if necessary. Just see this, I cannot enlarge it, but there is no pump. That purpose for that is to circulate water from deep down around heat exchanger to avoid that cooling, what you just mentioned. But this water, this will be hot, and if this is closed, this will explode. Okay. So we have pipe that going through, release to turbines. Turbines spin, connected with generator, produce electric energy, and exhausted steam going through this pipe. Remember, here is closed, and condenses of fresh water for free. No filter, no reverse osmosis, nothing. Fresh water. How much? I'll tell you. Now, this container where this pipe condenser is inside, you see, remember this pipeline going in and one going out. That is, I'm using okay, I'm using, oh, it's not that one. I'm using canal water, okay? I'm using, this is canal. I'm borrowing from canal, going through my condenser. Let's say I'm borrowing 1,000 gallons. And I'm returning few yards down, another same amount. I'm not spending a drop. Just borrowing from canal for cooling, and that can be repeated in all those systems. Byproduct is fresh water.
How much?
How much? Okay. Half that we bring. And how many more power plants we make? Oh, where is that one? Where is cross section? Just a second. Okay, you said how much? This becoming fresh water. We bring this water, this become fresh water. This remaining is high salinity water right now. What are you going to do with that? Well, I'm injecting that back in one of the pipe, whether for refreshing geothermal reservoir things, or alternatively to the ocean. But I'm hearing that will be many people against that. If that is the case, fine, we can use it. We are going to have a lot of power plants, 200, 300 power plants. Each of these power plants can make 24 wellbores. Modestly, I said one of those units, let's say 5 megawatts, 4 megawatts, 24 to the 5, 100, I don't know,
What's
About
the,
100
what's the
megawatts.
increase in temperature of the canal water after you put it back into the system?
Very, very, very good question. You're following me, great. Before I come to that one, just since it's very close here, see this? I will come to that question. Okay, this condenser here, condenser ends relative to the question how much I can put, see these sections through this. So we can increase bunch of those condensers and have fresh water down. So this exhaust steam, by the way, the generator will work much better if you don't have back pressure, which conventional just after passing through turbines, well, you have back pressure here. By increasing this, getting few of those, you eliminate that back pressure, which means you're more efficient.
Do you have an estimate of how many gallons of fresh water each one of those units will produce?
Yeah, that's a, well, let me say, this becomes fresh water. How many power plants we have? More fresh water we will have.
How many would one of these produce?
How many?
How much?
Gallons.
Well, that would be next stage to see that plenty, okay? Because as long this work, we will have it. I wish if I can tell you right now, well, whatever is, I don't know size for this one, but that's next stage that we should do. But this is doable, this is feasible. It's not something, well, cannot be done because so and so. But how much? Well,
What's
I
the
would say-
footprint of that?
this is about 500 yards, about 90 acres, but can produce about 100 megawatts, and you can make 100 power plants, 200 megawatt plants in a few decades, and continue, generation will continue that.
So the question,
Your question was, remind me
well,
again.
the question back here from Andy was,
The water, the irrigation water that's used down
Ah,
there in the
very
valley
good,
is,
very good, very
if
good.
the-
Will become a little hotter.
if it's warmer, there's already a problem with scald on crops.
Very good, very good.
Because of the sunlight, and so if you increase the temperature,
Okay, very good.
any
Let me
significant
just find it
amount
for
is
you.
gonna be a problem.
Okay, when we come to that, can you remember this number here? This water we are taking from canal, we are returning from heater, will be a little bit warmer, you're right. Can you remember this number here? 355. 355 is another binary unit that will take heat that you mentioned. 355. 355. These units are additional closed loop system, different working fluid, different boiling temperature. So today they have something to work on 75 degrees. They can boil. So we can extract one working fluid here. Well, this is not. This is ocean water. But these two represent closed loop system, different working fluid. This one is different. This one is a little smaller. So to extract all heat, and then going in canal with minimal heat, almost no. Do you object that for some reason? For example, even if it's few feet higher?
I don't object.
Well, no, I mean, why not? You can say yes.
But there may be, that you're creating an impact, and if you
Right,
heat the
but
water
few
up-
degree, few miles down the road.
Same issue when they take water from a once-through cooling plant and put it back in the ocean. You're not talking about temperature differentials of
Well,
20 degrees
in
Fahrenheit,
this-
and the environmentalists are very
Right.
concerned about it.
But if you're borrowing this water, yes, there might be a few degrees higher, but again, this will take maximum, and even if there is a little bit more, few miles down the road will not be feasible completely. It will be gone.
Pouring
You
water
cannot.
in from 200 of them.
Say again?
That's a good point too.
I'd say if you're pouring water in from 200 of them, it might make a difference.
Right. Well, this,
Because of the temperature?
right, but this is, yeah, well, to the point. This will be, this will feed all of them. So it might take some heat that I might take out on the last point.
So Explain how this reduces, how you reduce the salinity of the water in the lake.
Okay. First of all, this is the lowest point of the, if I can put this here, this, huh?
What size is
This is two, there is a ridge here, okay, we have two lowest point in the lake. And we know that that area will concentrate high salinity water. Why not we might pump access that close to the bottom, select that area and pump it whenever we need it, rather than just mixing and bringing and taking and try to make even.
Mr. Barnum has said earlier today that the tests that the USGS has done have shown that there really isn't a big differential between the water at the bottom 50 feet and the top because of the mixing effect of the winds and everything else. And that the overall consistency of the salinity of the lake is pretty consistent from top to bottom.
I was in one lecture in a roundtable PowerPoint, what was renewable energy roundtable, and actually I heard about that, and that was actually my information that I get it, and therefore I did. But that's not a big deal. We can. Another way to take salt is Let me just find where it is. Here. Okay. So we do have this high salinity water. We can inject it with pipe 265 into the salinity from here should be 265, some number 265. Taking, there is pans, removable pans. I will show you that one. In that building, this is building. There is 265 pipe, removable pans which are warmed by pipe. They're hot. Not to go into those details. Now on surface, this is closed. Greenhouse effect. I have condensers. The steam going here into these pipes, coming as a fresh water. This pan are removable. One is removable. We can take it by bringing truck here. Take one pan, jerk it with salt, because on the bottom, when evaporate, will stay salt, like tile. And then, okay, see, one pan is out, one is more than other. Truck coming in, you jerk it, you're loading on truck, and taking salt out.
And doing what with it?
Say again?
And doing what with the salt?
Well, you can go freeways, you can, therefore I don't focus on this very much. I rather really do it back to the ocean or use it in replenishing geothermal reservoirs. Okay, we can do that. But this is one option. And minerals, extraction of minerals, same principle. And we can see another. I had solar panel. It's not solar panel. 106. See, this is condensers. They are cooler.
Well, you have on your schematic right here on the top a high salinity line, looks like going back to the ocean. Isn't that kind of where a lot of it was?
That's that drawings. That's one to just explaining how to extract salt. But there is
I'm
option.
talking about this one right here, cover page right here. You have a high salinity line parallel to the oceanic water line.
Right.
Is that
So we are bringing oceanic line, and we are taking high salinity into ocean.
So that's your answer, Paul.
Okay, we can go back into ocean, but if there is problem with agency, regulatory agency,
Yeah.
we can use it here in that case to avoid any argument there. So that's not okay. If you can see here, 106, it has tunnels on the roof. Slide, I forgot about. I'm sorry, I forgot about teleconference to say which slide I am on. I was going up and down, I'm sorry.
You're probably right with us, right, Michael?
Yeah.
Slide 78.
I'm sorry. I should say I was going up and down, trying to squeeze it, and but okay, this panels 106 slide. Which slide is this? 26. No, slide 25. On roof there is 106 some panel, and that panels are thermal solar. 106. They can warm out container with oil to induce evaporation. Let me go back to slide 25. They're going down. Same thing like from geothermal, this solar can be used for that to induce evaporation and to have byproduct fresh water and salt on this container that can be used for something. If not, well, could be for extraction of mineral too, the different technologies, but building can be used for that. And if you see this 278 pipe, there is condenser, over there is a little cooler, they are connected with condenser that is a little bit in ocean going to the roof, in Salton Sea. And back to that intersection, slide 26. This is that pipe coming from Salton Sea cooler, or we can freeze it a little bit if necessary to make condensate, collecting fresh water drops into Y-shaped line, and so we do have fresh water there too. Let me go back. If you can see this U-shape, Y-shape underneath condenser, just to make it understand that one, is Y-shape. This is alternative to alternative. Under condenser, dropping fresh water deep down that can be collected with plastic pipe into fresh water containers. So this is another way to make fresh water and to answer that question. So we can make fresh water through that first system, byproduct of binary unit, and this way also. Let me just mention, I don't know, can I go through calculations right now? How much time we have?
You've got about 17 minutes.
17 minutes, okay. This would be, without going into details right now, okay, let's go through this one. Well, okay, let me go to, all right, this is using fresh water heat for cooling condensers and returning down too. But okay, we have line from ocean going to boiler and returning, and that can be repeated here, 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 and then we have line to cool it down, and we have byproduct fresh water. Now this is another one that, let me see what this. This is, all right, let's go this one. This one taking from canal through condenser, feeding, cooling, and returning a little bit warmer. You're right. But before we put in canal, we can extract it really maximum and have only a few degrees more. But again, a few miles down the road will not be. I don't think so. It'll be
Well,
something.
the turnout generally from the main canal is every half mile, so a few miles down the road, you're already passing several turnouts for delivery.
Several what? Passing several what?
Delivery gates
Oh,
off of the main canal. So I mean,
Do you
it
think
isn't
that
gonna go, it isn't gonna go several miles down the canal before somebody needs to use it.
okay. It would be, in your opinion, impact if it's 5 degrees more or 2-3 degrees more than water?
Well, I'm not an agronomist. I'm not a physicist
Well,
either.
right,
I
well,
got into that yesterday, but I mean,
Well,
there
you have a
are
point.
any
That's right.
any
That's right. But
temperature-
I don't think so that should be stopped.
Any temperature differentiation of differentiation of the water is going to be problematic.
Because
Because it has a different, the crops, use the water to cool, they use the water to cool off the crops to some extent. And depending upon the type of crop and when, particularly in the germination phase, the cooler the water is, the better. So, I mean, it's just, and other than that, you can have higher evaporation rates if the water's warmer. I don't know. I mean, you just can't disregard it.
Well, I'm not. I'm taking that point very well. Thank you.
Why wouldn't you put in a cooler system?
Say again?
Why wouldn't you put in a cooler system?
Cooler.
Yeah.
For the water. Well, then you're they're chewing up energy then.
You got the sunlight.
Which kind of cooler system? Oh, to cool it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's one option. It will take some energy for that, I believe. Yeah,
You
it's
got
one
the
option.
sun.
Hmm?
You got the sun.
Yeah, well, yeah, there is option. I don't think so. It's stopper really. We could put more of those units. That you can always find some way.
Nikola, are you gonna go into the phasing of how this is, how this is gonna be built in this number of years, this is gonna be built in this number of years?
Well,
How's that gonna impact the Sultans?
How that helps the city.
City, yeah, helps us, yeah.
right. Well, it's. I do have phases.
Yeah, you described the phases to us, but I'm more interested in from a, first phase is gonna roll out.
You want timing. You want timing.
Yeah.
Well, how long will it take to make this tunnel? I don't know. 2 years. We started this 3 years ago. We're already right now has cooling water maybe done.
I don't think you did start.
Phase 2 to make dikes. Maybe a year, 2. Same thing. Could we start in the same time? I don't know those details. I was hoping to work together with contractors and find out. But phase 3, in this same time, we can work on phase 3 with consultant, with a few companies, whether it's Ormat, whether it's Caltech or Mitsubishi, Fuji, ABB, Siemens, whatever it is. At the same time, we can work pretty much on those. During these first 2 phases, let's say a few years, we can start drilling one of the plane and going into details. 4 phase, that's something that we could continue right away. We can have crew with knowledge. We can learn a little bit more. We can go faster and maybe cheaper. Next ones. And this is for future generation. They can go. So it's not beginning and start. This is really to start, step in the right direction. That will continue future generation to build 100 power plants. We can produce a lot of electric energy. We can have fresh water. We can have condition for tourism. It's going to be hard to argue against
So
that.
when do you think you'll turn the corner with the Salt Sea? In other words, you're talking now, phase 5 is a long-term build-out, I understand that.
Right, it's continue. From 20 power plants, we can go to 300, and then we'll go.
My question specifically is, how long do you, with the technology you're talking about and rolling out the project the way you're talking about, when can you start contributing fresh water to the Salton Sea, and how long do you think it would take to make a difference?
Oh, okay. Now, on these drawings here, this is the point. By making these dikes right away, we had whatever inflow is, let's say 1 million acre-feet. We have that water right away for farmland. This will be wildlife sanctuary, wetland, that will be naturally plant-based filtered. So that water is huge plus. That's all what we have inflow right now. That can be used for farmland right away. As soon as we make this, okay, how long will this take? Well, let's say a year, 2, depending how aggressive we start.
Make what, sorry? As soon as you finish what? Like a wetlands?
Wetlands?
I missed the last part of what you said. You said you were gonna put the wetlands in, and that would generate 1 million acre-feet of water that, at least from my thinking, is no longer going into the Salton Sea.
Right. There is no water, this water right now going in Salton Sea, and it's doing only compensating for evaporation. Now, if we have oceanic water here, this water can be filter it and reuse it for farmland. So we have for farmland maybe million acre feet plus that we didn't have right now. Right now, as soon as it's touching Salton Sea, it's gone. It's salty. You can use it for farmland. And this is trick. See this little curve here? This river, New River, Alamo River, going that way, coming back. Could be another zigzag if we need to extend it. It's natural plant-based filtration. It's very simple. In my opinion, it's beautiful. But I'm subjective. It's my baby. But let's see. What else?
One question.
Sure.
You talked about a number of specific technologies that you have perfected. Where have you tested them in the field to prove the technology works?
Has not been, well, for example, your car. You have closed loop system that taking heat from your, particularly, answer is no, has not been used, this. Maybe, well, I don't think so. But, not that I'm aware of. But closed loop system is very simple, cannot be simpler than that. Question is it workable, is it feasible? Yes, it is. You have in your car for, they're using it 100 years. Going around, block of your engine, going to the radio, it's circular. And the best proof for that is that sample that I just showed you, Hawaii and flare stuff. Where closed loop system, very simple. How people didn't think about that before, I don't know. It's, maybe it's my destiny. You can use it, that closed loop system, flexible pipes, hoses. If lava, for example, to answer that question, has not been used, that's true. But it's not something, this is not breaking atoms that we have really, where we don't know will really work or we don't know. Yes, it's proven. All I'm using, already proven technology, just make a little bit different configuration.
When you show your schematic of a unit generating power, do you have any of those in production? Have any of those been used in the world here?
Can you repeat that again, please?
You show a schematic of your turbine located downhole, producing electricity. Do you have any of those turbines in production, or?
No, it's not something that I can do in garage. Therefore, I was hoping to have some exploratory budget and team, whether it's with Tetra Tech or Dadik, or I know that they're already consulting with Salton Sea, and then we have experts around, plenty. Just a little bit steering the different direction, and I think if you put all forces into it, including myself, that I'm pretty good in solving problems if there is some problem. And in future it might be, but I don't accept no answer. I can always find some solution for that. By the way, let me brag a little bit on this point. The disaster in Gulf of Mexico, 2010, when blowout, prevented blowout, I submitted proposal 34 days prior to it, and that's how they did it. That's how they closed it. It was shown, was televised on CNN. I was outside there watching there. You can see my website when you have changed. There's a lot of documentations about that. When I saw what I was doing for 2 months, if it's not said, it would be laughable. And I said, the only surface there is flange where a razor was completely collapsed down. To seal it, there is only vertical radial surface flange where two pipes get together. But you do have some bolts, nuts and bolts, so that you cannot seal it. Plus, this is heavy stuff. How it will slide down. So I made a little notch. So to wait to stay there, and a little bell, I inflated, or could be some rubber or those trucks, they have those inflated tires, how do you call those? Inflated tires before, inside, inner tube. Something, but not with, to inflate with air, because it's high hydrostatic pressure. Inflate with oil. There is container pump, pop, 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 seal it. And then there is a valve, like toilet seat, so like this way, this is just opposite, you close it. And that's it. First you seal it, then you close it, and that's how they did it. They didn't use toilet seat, they used it to run, maybe, whatever was handy, but that's how they did. As soon as I saw that cleaning that vertical or radial surface on CNN, I knew they got it. And that's how they closed it.
We've got about 5 minutes left, so I'm gonna open this up to, and limit the questions to the committee only, please. Michael, I cut you off last time. Have you got any, we'll give you first shot this time.
Thanks. I guess my main question is really, I think the question you posed, Bruce, which is how, I mean, the technology sounds interesting, but how it specifically generates additional water. And I think there was a lot of focus on the specific technology, but I heard less on how water is brought in from the Pacific Ocean.
Through pipe system, two alternatives, CO Cortez, but definitely piping, not canals. Because when we're using piping system, we can produce electric energy. But if you, did you ask, your question was how we produce fresh water? May I call you Mike? I forgot last name.
Yeah.
Its question was how to produce fresh water or how to bring water? Oceanic water.
My interest is how are we going to use this to benefit the Salton Sea?
First of all,
total volume of water, but also balancing salt.
Right, but this is all about by bringing. First of all, the strongest, the main point is to make two dikes to separate lake in 3 sections. That way, we have wildlife sanctuary, we have treatment of the runoff water for farmland, and that water can be used for farmland. Central part, we can exchange and bring oceanic water. What would be benefit? Well, it will be condition for tourism, hotels, resorts, motels. That's just one part. That will bring a few $1 billion. And production of fresh water. If your question is how we produce fresh water, you can go to the slide 18. Can you go to the slide 18 for a moment?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. There is into well, there is a coil, heat exchanger, and there is another heat exchanger number.
I understand how it's produced. I mean, there's a question of how much is produced. But to get again back to the Salton Sea, it looks like with your 3 different sections, there's quite a bit of berms or dikes or dams constructed to route some of the drainage water around. Have you estimated the total linear number of miles?
Well, we do have like 10 miles its length. I was estimating $1 billion for those dikes and another billion maybe for northern part, just to treatment and that part. In my plan, I put some estimate. I didn't have time to go through it. It looks like right now those numbers and no. But to answer how much water, one pipeline that we bring will be pipeline full of fresh water when this is finished. So if we're bringing, whatever we bring to compensate for evaporation, 1.25 million acre feet, any extra water can become fresh water. Half of that extra water becoming fresh water. It's very simple. Might not happen next 2 years, but more, as much as many power plants we build, more fresh water we generate. But main point is, by having dikes, we have huge amount of water for farmland that otherwise would be lost.
Great. Okay, thanks.
Anybody else?
What is the total cost?
You're supposed to be up here.
I know, can't even.
I was estimating, I say less than $10 billion. But if we're going to the San Felipe, I was calculating about $2.5 billion. But I really don't know how it will work with Mexico because I don't know anyone there. But and I'm afraid with that other country issue, somebody might close, could be coup d'etat, could be. If we do that for just right now, because it's faster way to do it, $2.5 billion is nothing compared that we can make $100 billion soon. We can make $10 billion in a few years, not to mention tourism. And so I would go with Temecula, banning Temecula corridor also right away. and whether it's mountains, we might not be able to generate a revenue there, but we might be even if there is some loss that we have to bring some electric energy, I would go with that too. Because this is big deal. Bringing water is imperative. And everything else is, we build on that. And we will depend $100 billion industry. This will be project of the century, very easy. And will be repeated worldwide. And we have excellent conditions. We have lake, deeper, lower than ocean, that's excellent. We have geothermal sources, that's great. And we have already infrastructure, we have already tourism, we're already famous, and we are close to grid and everything else.
Anything else? Any other questions?
Just a comment, it seems as if, to Michael's point from the earlier speaker, it seems as if the audience is maybe guys like Cal Energy and Berkshire Hathaway and Chesapeake Energy's down 90%. Maybe they'd be interested in getting in the geothermal business. I mean, it sounds like you're like this is a geothermal project.
Right. If I can go just to this one.
Engineering project. It's more of that than it is anything
Right. I cannot do this alone. Okay.
And while he's scrolling to the next slide, this committee took on the task of evaluating all of the items. So we've got to do that. Now, I think it's reasonable if we were to say that this particular project or some other project needs to go to somebody else to get that, just 1 second, get that funding. But I think we need to, in order to close the loop, we need to go through that evaluation.
Right. If I can just finish this one. This is constraint requirements for project. Well, the size will get huge. There is so many patented technologies involved. I cannot do it alone, definitely. It's not something I can do in garage. Of course, I'd like to do it with Caltech. We have experts, Tetra Tech, there is Dalek. They're all consultant already. Let's get together somehow. No legal. I tried to reach Floor and asking for some prices. So, well, we are consultant, the consultancy, we cannot relieve that information. And I didn't get information. But if there is some legal, I say, well, calling from consultancy or something like that, and somebody else calling, then we can get those information. They will not spend time for detail, spending time in some detail estimate, cost estimate. If they're reading a newspaper, there is option for small lake, and I'm talking about bringing oceans, and I'm outsider. And I cannot pay them with my credit cards, and they're not going to spend time on that. So it should be some explanatory budget for that and work a little bit in this direction, in my opinion. But this is solution for that is, now that we have project of great value and of great importance for our economy and our environment and future generation, with the help of this committee and local authorities, we should be able to form a necessary for the budget, form a team of necessary experts, work with potential contractors and companies with means, or not one of those, means towards final selection and finding the right corridor. I believe that Temecula would be better than Freeway 8, although I'm not against Seal Cortez also, a little bit risky, again, other country issue, but I would do it at this time. And then work with state and federal politicians on grant or a long-term loan for this project. Half, let's say, it could be maybe 7 billion, but I say less than 10 because, I don't know, we'll need some tunnel if you're going to Temecula or something. But still, 10, it's nothing compared what we're going to gain with that. Even if it's 20, I will go. But that's how it is. And the last, I make one presentation at SMU, South Methodist University, in May. They like it too. I mean, too. I don't know if they like it or not, but they love it. And they say, "What does locals think about it?" Well, I said they're still thinking of it. But this was my last slide. I said, well, we cannot solve our problem with the same thinking we used to when we created this Albert Einstein, and there is Arthur Schopenhauer 1788, and before Civil War he died. He said, well, the truth passes through 3 stages. First, it is ridiculed. Second, it is violently opposed. And third, it's accepted as self-evident. Yeah, sure, we know that.
And I would add a fourth one and say, then it's fun.
Say,
And I would add a fourth one and say, then it's fun.
Which phase are we in that bottom?
well, I hope we will be, I hope we'll be on this third one altogether. It's not my project, it's our project, okay?
It's your idea.
My idea and our project.
I'll ask you the same thing I've asked all the other presenters. Are you available if one, like, any of the committee members or any of the audience
Sure.
want to reach out to?
Sure.
And if your contact information is on the handout?
My contact, yes.
Yeah, okay. So,
There is a bunch of here, I don't know, do you already have it or not?
yeah, okay. And this will be on the webpage.
Okay, very good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.